At the White House today, what's become something of a routine, though an unwelcome one, the president has felt obliged again to publicly support John Sununu, his chief of staff. It happened after a weekend of further disclosures about Mr. Sununu's use of corporate jets. And perhaps more damaging, that Mr. Sununu misled the White House about it. Here's ABC's Britt Hume.
The chief of staff, who apparently finds commercial travel too great an indignity, today found himself subjected to an even greater indignity. He was chased down hallways by reporters demanding to know if he's about to be fired.
You think you're going to ride out the storm, Governor?
Relations with the president?
Sununu didn't want to talk about it, but finally did say a few words.
Do you feel any insecurity at all at this stage?
I think the president's indicated his support.
That's true, but the president plainly didn't want to talk about it either, and his only comment came as he was also answering a shouted question about today's commission report on children.
I don't think it's even out. Yeah, I'm looking for it yet, but I haven't seen a report.
Senior advisors say Sununu is safe for now, but no one can predict what Mr. Bush will do if there's another chapter in the complex saga of his chief of staff's travels. Presidential spokesman Fitzwater said today that Mr. Bush, quote, obviously wishes it hadn't happened, wishes we hadn't gone through this, but believes corrective steps have been taken. The latest corrective steps were yet another change in White House travel rules to prohibit Sununu from soliciting private firms to fly him to political events. This after the governor asked a Washington businessman to arrange such a flight, then denied falsely that he had done so to other White House aides, including presidential counsel Boyden Gray. As a result of that, Sununu over the weekend issued a statement acknowledging that, quote, mistakes were made and that, quote, my own mistakes contributed. Despite that, there's no indication that Sununu's yet prepared to forego private travel for less convenient but less controversial public transportation. As one top official here put it, he doesn't get it. A remark less notable for what it says than for the fact that someone here would say it. At the moment, Sununu has few, if any, defenders. Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House.
Still in Washington from the Supreme Court today, an important decision concerning freedom of the press. The court has ruled that a news organization may be sued if it promises to keep the name of a source secret and then breaks its promise. Here's our law correspondent, Tim O'Brien.
On the eve of a state election, Republican Party activist Dan Cohen offered Minnesota's two largest newspapers court records revealing that Marlene Johnson, the Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor, had been arrested 12 years earlier for shoplifting. The reporters promised Cohen they would not use his name, but they were overruled by their editors, who said Cohen's campaign tactics were as newsworthy as his information. Cohen, fired from his job as a result, sued for damages and won.
It's very important for people in their dealing with other people to keep their word.
The papers appealed, arguing it violates freedom of the press for judges to be second-guessing editors, that papers cannot be sued for truthful reporting. The Supreme Court today disagreed. Justice Byron White, for the majority, said states may require those making promises to keep them, and any inhibition on truthful reporting was only incidental. 4 dissenters, led by Justice David Souter, said protecting news reporting was more important than enforcing promises of confidentiality. The decision has the potential to complicate the lives of news reporters. Under prior court rulings, they could be jailed for not divulging sources. Under today's, they can now be sued if they do. Tim O'Brien, ABC News at the Supreme Court.
We'll have more news in just a moment.